Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to discuss, is bioterrorism a current threat in Europe? Firstly, I'm going to talk about what is bioterrorism by definition. Bioterrorism by definition is the use of germ warfare and intentional human release of naturally occurring or human-modified toxins or biological agents. More simply, this is just the use of infectious agents or other harmful biological substances as a weapon to deliberately cause harm. The biological agents is divided into two categories depending on their priority in the eyes of the US public system and the risk that they could pose to national security. Category A, biological agents are of the highest priority because, as I mentioned before, they pose the biggest risk to national security. This can be for several reasons. These agents can easily be transmitted from person to person, increasing the mortality rate, as well as increasing the chance of an epidemic, which is a catastrophe event in the eyes of the public health systems. These agents can also have the potential to have a major devastating impact on the public health system and send them into disarray. One example of a Category A agent is Yersinia pestis, the cause of plague. From British history, it is evident the serious impact and disease like this has upon society. Showing the power this holds as a potential weapon, diseases of this level are sure to cause social disruption and panic, applying more pressure on governments and health services. These diseases also require specific action in order to prepare and prevent for such an event. Category B agents are the second highest priority agents. These agents are moderately easy to spread with moderate morbidity and low mortality rates. This includes food safety threats such as salmonella and water safety threats such as Vibrio cholerae. Enhanced diseases surveillance help prevent the use of these agents as biological weapons. Now we will briefly explore the history of bioterrorism. In 1925, 38 countries signed the Geneva Protocol, banning the use of biological weapons. However, countries such as Japan refused to accept the ban. It has been revealed in 1941 British scientists off the coast of Scotland experimented with ways of spreading foot and mouth disease and lethal infections such as anthrax, dysentery, cholera and typhoid in his secret biological warfare trials during the Second World War. Though not in Europe, one of the most known uses of bioterrorism is in the 2001 anthrax attacks in the US. Letters were mailed containing anthrax spores to news offices and Democratic senators, killing 5 and infecting 17. This event sparked a significant increase in government funding for bioterrorism research across the world. More recently, in 2018, Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia were poisoned in Salisbury, England, using Novichok nerve agent. The suspected perpetrators are the Russian government after Mr. Skripal had worked as a double agent for the British government during the 90s. The EU Chemical, Biological, Radiological and Nuclear Action Plan, also known as the EU CBRN Action Plan, outlines the procedures taken to protect Europe from chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear attacks. This plan is updated every couple of years or when a major attack happens. It outlines the biological threats which are increasing due to terrorist groups that are now experimenting with biological weapons. There are multiple methods of delivery for bioweapons. By air. When airborne germs are dispersed as fine particles, a person must breathe in a sufficient quantity of the particles for it to be effective in causing illness. In explosives. The explosives are used to deliver and spread biological agents. However, living organisms may be destroyed by the heat when incorporated in bombs and missiles. By contamination of food or water. Finally, absorbed or injected into the skin. This method is ideal for assassination but not for mass casualties. So why are bioweapons used? They are used because they are invisible and microscopic but are still extremely deadly. It is easy to multiply and maintain the cultures, as this is very difficult to trace. However, on the other hand, there is a high chance of the worker being contaminated. they are difficult to deploy, and there will be problems acquiring highly restricted microbes. Some common examples of bioweapons are anthrax, salmonella, smallpox, cholera, yellow fever, sarin, Novichok, Ebola, and different types of plagues. The most effective protection measures are early detection. This gives times to treat those exposed. Protective clothing such as masks, gloves and goggles. Medical protection, for example, the victim being isolated while being treated. And finally, widespread immunization. Vaccines will decrease the probability of an epidemic.